Okay, to be fair, I did oil this when I got it uh, on the drive, the slider, and then there's another area it slides on the back. I had the cover off, lubricated the governor. When this thing gets really cold, it doesn't want to play very long. I suspect it has really thick grease in it. So, oh, and then the record speed's supposed to be as close to 160 as possible. So it was actually set kind of fast. So I'm going to open it up and get the guts out of it and look this thing over. I've never gotten to work on one of these before. There's the tag. I think the older models have it mounted on the actual works somewhere about there. I was looking around for the tag and it was right in front of me. So here's a look at the governor. This is all gear driven, it's not belt driven like all the earlier phonographs. This appears to be the speed control. I'm not sure how you set it. Oh, there we go. Right there. This screw sets it. Interesting. And then this here is from the stop. I'm going to remove the works from the box. Okay, let's get a better look at this thing. I do think it's neat that it's all gear driven. So in theory it should never have warble. Sounded a little unsteady, especially when this thing was cold. There's really nothing to it. I'm going to lubricate a few spots that I couldn't get to before. I'm going to clean up the drive. Then I'm gonna pull the lubrication plug and see if I can see what kind of grease is in this thing. If it's old and dried up and sticky, then I'm gonna take the spring out of it, clean everything up, and lubricate it with very light grease so it won't be affected by temperature. Wow, that's really in there. Oh wow. Yep, this needs a good cleaning. You get a bunch of dust and stuff, and these things get dirty, so I'll clean that up. I want to look at it under my magnifier. So this one's supposed to be a diamond. It plays the 4-minute Amberolas, but you're not supposed to play the 4-minute hard wax. Supposedly this stylus will destroy those records, so I guess you use the sapphire needles on those. I always like to check the play on the governors. Just making a little noise, so it is loose. Because if you make it too tight, it won't rotate. That'll affect the cumulative friction in the system here. Another thing I'm going to do to this is I take this off. See, this rides on the shaft. So I want to pull this off completely, and I polish that shaft with some green Scotch-Brite. I like to do the same thing to this shaft also. You have to reduce as much friction as possible. Give that spring every chance it has to play through the records and without bogging down. I need to see what state the grease is in. I don't see any grease. Kind of oily. I'm going to put the crank in this and kind of turn and observe. Now that it's wound up, there's a gap in there. It goes in about that deep now, almost an inch. So I have room to put lubricant in it now. Yeah, it looks pretty dry. Yeah, I don't see anything in there. So I'm going to get online and see what kind of grease this model prefers. Okay, so there's all kinds of opinions on the internet. It said the original stuff was a mixture of Vaseline and graphite powder, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put thick chrome moly grease in it either. I have a lighter, thinner grade of automotive grease that I'm going to try instead. To start with, and see how the motor responds. And I'm just going to let that run through. I want to take this off too. Check the surface that that's riding on. Well, that's interesting. It has kind of a corkscrew action. I guess that you can set the tension that way also. If I can get it in frame here. Into this. It's a real aggressive spiral cut. There's a closer look at that shaft. This rotates also in that shaft, so I'm going to disassemble that and clean the surfaces. Hardware that was holding that on. That was unexpected. That's the wrong way to unwind a spring. Live and learn. Still got them all.